Metal detecting is a growing hobby, made up of dedicated individuals, a nationwide network of clubs and many who perhaps just prefer to potter around the local beach on holiday. It can be very rewarding, sometimes profitable, but always very educational. A detectorist is often the first person to set eyes on some artifact lost for hundreds, maybe thousands of years. All you need is a little knowledge of local history, luck, sheer perseverance, and of course, the right equipment. It's also a very cheap hobby to participate in once the initial purchase of a detector is made. But what about that initial purchase? And come to that, what about upgrading from your old machine? Buying a metal detector these days is no mean task. There are such a wide variety to choose from and only a few outlets. With the average detector costing somewhere between £200 and £600, you could wind up making an expensive mistake. It has always been our advice here at Joan Allen's for you to check the detectors out for yourself. Be confident with what you are buying before parting with all that money. Pay a visit to the showroom. Ask all those questions that the adverts never seem to answer. We pride ourselves in our long service to the hobby. There isn't much we don't know about metal detecting, so make use of us as a resource. Obviously, not everyone is able to visit our showrooms in Biggin Hill, and whilst there is no substitute for the real thing, this video has been designed to bridge the gap. Basically, if you can't come to the showroom, then we'll try and bring the showroom to you. Via the TV, that is. The advantage of a videotape is that you can watch it a dozen times if you want. You can spin it back over the parts you're not sure about, fast forward it over the boring bits. The modern metal detector represents over 60 years of development. Gerhard Fischer invented one of the first metal detectors in 1931. The company he went on to set up, Fischer Research, have remained at the forefront of detector design and innovation ever since. Simply put, a metal detector transmits and receives a balanced magnetic field. Anything that imbalances that field will be detected. Basically, any reasonably good conductor of electricity. This includes not only metals, but also certain natural ground minerals, wet salt and so on. Thus, the first problem a detector faces is actually differentiating between metals and other conductive substances. This is taken care of by the ground balancing circuits. The second problem is then differentiating between the desirable metal objects, such as coins, and undesirable metal objects, such as old nails. This problem is solved to a large degree by the discriminating circuits. What sets the modern professional type of metal detector apart from the more basic types is the ability to ground balance and discriminate simultaneously. The Fischer range of machines have been designed for ease and comfort of use. They have this lazy S-style configuration with an integral armrest. They are lightweight, but feel even lighter because of their excellent balance. The stems and coils are fully adjustable for your particular height and build. All search coils are fully waterproof and can be submerged for shallow water and beach hunting. Fischer's X series of detectors automatically tune and ground balance. Virtually all the operator has to do is switch on and set a discrimination level. Thus, even the cheapest of the range, the 1210, can cut through severe ground mineralization, discriminate against most junk, and still detect deeper than many more expensive machines. With just one control, it couldn't be simpler to use. All this makes the 1210 especially popular with beginners, but also with detectorists who want something very quick yet effective, perhaps as a backup to their main machine. There are many more times as many junk items in the ground as there are desirable objects. The amount and kind of junk you experience will vary depending on the site you are detecting on. You are less likely to encounter modern junk, such as pull tabs, in the middle of a ploughed field than on a picnic site. Obviously, a metal detector cannot see what an object is in the ground. But because some metals are better conductors of electricity than others, they can be separated into a spectrum. By adjusting the discrimination or trash rejection control, we can set the detector to filter out certain metals. The poorest conductors are rejected first. Lucky for us that ferrous metals, iron and steel, which make up the majority of junk items, are relatively poor conductors. Lucky for us also that gold, silver, copper and bronze are all very good conductors. With a selection of typical detector finds, make a note at which discrimination level the various metals are rejected. With the trash elimination control set at 0, the 1210 will give the same signal on all metals: the iron nail, the copper nickel 5p, the aluminium pull tab, and the hammered silver coin. Listen to the audio as the discrimination is increased. At about 3.5 to 4, the detector starts giving an abrupt clicking sound over the nail. This is the reject signal. At this level, we can reject the iron and still get a good accept signal on all other items. However, if we increase the control to eliminate the pull tab to about 6 to 6.5, out goes the 5p piece too. This is because aluminium is more conductive than copper nickel. Although the exact calibration may vary from detector to detector, this discrimination system is similar throughout the X series of detectors. To register a signal, the detector's search coil must be kept moving over the target. These are motion detectors. A moderate search speed will give you the best results. Pinpointing in motion will take a bit of practice. Basically, crisscross over the loudest point of the signal, keeping your eye in the center of the search coil. The 1210 runs on a single 9-volt PP3 battery. The disk control is handy to move with the thumb. When you get a signal, don't be afraid to experiment. Find out at what level you start to eliminate it. With a bit of practice, you will be able to identify an object even before you dig it up. The 1212 is more or less identical to the 1210, but rather more powerful. A good thing about the Fisher range is that with each step up in price, you have a step up in performance. Coming to the 1225, then, the most significant difference is the improvement in depth. The 1225 will find things perhaps 10 to 20% deeper than the 1212. Looking at the control panel, one can see the addition of the sensitivity control, battery test, and pinpoint. With these more powerful detectors, it becomes increasingly important to have variable sensitivity. Normally, this control can be left at maximum. There may be times, however, when it becomes necessary to reduce it, either because the natural ground minerals are so severe, or because you are getting an unbearable level of chatter from junk. Reducing the sensitivity of a detector will marginally reduce its depth capabilities. To test the state of your batteries, and the 1225 takes two 9-volt PP3s, turn the sensitivity control fully counterclockwise until you hear it switch. Your batteries are fine as long as you get a good loud tone. The pinpoint mode allows you to stop still over a target to help you dig more accurately. Having received a signal in the motion mode, press and release the button once next to your target to tune and ground balance. Then press again and hold in. You will receive the loudest signal when your target is directly beneath the coil's hotspot, marked on the decal. Another difference you will notice is that the 1225, along with the other more expensive models, has an interchangeable search coil. Fisher make a whole range of accessory search coils for various uses. We will cover these later. With the 1235, we are well into the mid-range of professional detectors. Its design is similar to that of the 1210 and the 1225, and again it runs on two 9-volt PP3 batteries. The 1235, first and foremost, offers more power and sensitivity in the ground. In addition to the discrimination, sensitivity and battery test, it has a frequency change control. This is useful if you will be detecting with a friend, in a club or attending rallies. Because many metal detectors work on a similar frequency, they are likely to interfere with each other when in close proximity. Adjusting this control changes the operating frequency just enough to cancel this effect. By experimenting, you might also find that you can detect closer to other offenders, such as electric fences. The pinpoint on the 1235 operates by varying tone as well as varying intensity. When activated, you will get a higher pitch signal when the target is nearer to the hotspot. Another very useful feature with the 1235 is that you can slide the control box on or off the stem. It is hip mount convertible. Once off the stem, thread a belt through the brackets, unwind some excess coil cable, and wear the control box around your waist. The 1235 is powerful and yet very versatile, a popular choice of inland and beach hunters alike. Because the 1265 and 1266 share so many features, we will deal with them in part together. They are perfectly balanced, and although slightly heavier than the detectors we have already seen, actually feel lighter in use. The The 1265 is considerably more powerful than the 1235, and with its predecessor, the 1260, revolutionized detector design and performance. The 1266 looks similar, but its depth, penetration and sensitivity are in another league. There are 3 modes on the 1265 and 1266, Disc 1, Disc 2 and Pinpoint. You can switch between these using the trigger on the underside of the control box. Forward for Disc 2, toward you for Pinpoint. When released, the trigger will always return to its center position, Disc 1, the main search mode. On the control panels, you will see the twin discrimination controls. These work independently, so setting one will not affect the other. The idea is to switch between 2 different levels of trash rejection. The setting of these will depend on you and your sites. There is no hard and fast rule. On an old farm site where modern junk is not a severe problem, you might set Disc 1 on about 3 to 3.5 to reject small iron such as nails, and Disc 2 at say 4 to 4.5 to reject larger iron. Using a metal detector is all about experimenting and finding out what suits you and your sites best. However you decide to use the twin discrimination, it will soon become second nature. You will find the trigger switch fast and effective. The 1265 and 66 both run on 8 1.5 volt AA cells. They have a built-in battery charging system. If you use NiCads, you can get a charger that plugs straight into a socket on the front of the control box. You don't have to remove your batteries from the detector. The 1266 is supplied with Fisher's new open coil, more rugged and less buoyant. The spider coil is especially beneficial when searching in stubble or shallow water. The 66 is the most sensitive, deepest seeking automatic motion detector on the market. Because it is so extremely powerful, be prepared to lower your sensitivity levels on highly mineralized or very junky sites. There is also a 1266 XB model. This has an extra breakdown point on the upper stem, making it compact for carrying. The XB comes complete with a neat, hard carrying case, ideal for taking on airlines. Electronically, the XB is identical to the standard version. Depth alone isn't quite everything, however, and Fisher's top-of-the-range model, the CZ6 Quicksilver, combines extreme power with a unique dual-frequency operating system. Fisher call it Fourier domain analysis. The result? Put simply, it will find more. The CZ is a totally weatherproofed detector. Although not submersible, it will withstand rain, dust, and even sea spray. As most serious detectorists use headphones, the CZ has no speaker, but Fisher do make an optional speaker attachment that plugs into the headphone socket. Because it is easier to demonstrate with a speaker, we shall be using this. The CZ has a number of fundamental differences to the X series of detectors. The most striking of these must be the meter. The CZ has visual target identification. The needle will lock onto each signal according to the target's conductivity. The more conductive the metal, the higher the reading. As if this wasn't enough, the CZ also has audio target identification. It will give a different tone over the different conductivity groups. Thus, over the hammered silver, the meter and audio tone read high. Over the pull tab, they read in the middle register. Over the iron, they read low. All this must surely replace the good old discrimination control, you say. Not so. The CZ has a 7-level trash rejection control too. But unlike the X series, the CZ really does ignore the reject signals. No spitting and no chattering. When the pinpoint mode is activated, the meter will read the depth of your target. This is designed to be most accurate on coin-sized objects. Larger targets will read shallower than they actually are. Smaller targets will read deeper. The CZ has a second search mode called Auto-Tune. This is very powerful and will detect all metals. The CZ is not exactly a switch-on-and-go detector because it needs to be manually ground balanced. You might ask why, if there are automatically ground balancing detectors such as the X series, why should you want to manually set a detector up? Good question. Automatic detectors are great on most sites with average levels of ground minerals. There will be sites, however, on which they cannot give the best results. Being able to manually ground balance means that you can set the detector to give its best on any site. No matter how severe the minerals, you will find more and be able to detect on site that automatic detectors have problems with. The ground balancing procedure on the CZ is straightforward and clearly explained in its instruction manual. The minerals encountered inland are very different to those encountered on the wet part of the beach. This is because of the salt becoming conductive when wet. To counter this problem, the CZ can be switched to its salt mode prior to ground balancing. The CZ is an extremely sensitive detector. You will have to reduce the sensitivity control on tricky sites. Always ground balance at a higher level of sensitivity than you intend using. The Quicksilver takes two 9-volt PP3 batteries. It has a built-in signal booster to amplify those very faint signals. It is convertible for hip mounting and can be collapsed very compactly to fit into an optional carrying case. All in all, the CZ is very definitely a detector for the serious enthusiast. The Aquanaut is an extremely versatile machine. As its name suggests, this model is designed for both land and underwater detecting. It is widely used by divers and is water and pressure proof down to 250 feet. The Aquanaut shares many of the X-series features. It is a motion discriminator, and because of its very low operating frequency, it can see through ground minerals that the more powerful detectors have problems with. These features and its ease of use make the Aquanaut a popular choice with inland hunters as well. This is one detector that you really can get home and hose down. It is ideal for beach hunters who want to get right down into the surf, find the rings and not have to worry about waves swamping their equipment. The battery compartment, which houses 8 AA cells, is isolated from the circuit board compartment, so again there is no danger of harmful leaks caused by repeated battery changing. The Aquanaut can be configured in a number of ways, for land use, for underwater use, and like the 1235X or CZ6, the control box can be hip mounted very easily. The Aquanaut comes complete with a purpose-designed hard carrying case. The Gemini 3 is designed for locating large objects at extreme depths. It has a detection range of up to about 30 feet. These type of detectors are powerful but insensitive. The Gemini will not detect anything smaller than, say, 6 inches by 6 inches. They are widely used for hoard and relic hunting and aircraft recovery, specialist areas of the hobby, and ones that require either painstaking research or plain luck, but obviously ones that can be very rewarding. The Gemini looks bulky, but it breaks down very compactly. The two boxes clip together to make a case. There are many variables that will determine a detector's performance in the ground. The detector's ability to cope with minerals, the size of the target, how long it's been buried, whether the soil is compact or broken up, wet or dry, the shape of the object, how the object is lying in the ground, the list goes on. The CZ6 and the 1266 are the most powerful motion detectors on the market, but to guarantee that you will be finding coins 18 inches down would be foolish. In some cases you may, in others not. Remember also that the most powerful detector is not necessarily the best for you and your sites. No one would recommend you buy a 1266X for searching the Thames foreshore, for instance. The depth the detector will search is also related to the coil size. The larger the coil, the deeper it will go. But the more ground minerals the detector has to cope with. Use an 11-inch coil if you have a vast site that you want to cover quickly. A 3.5-inch coil to literally weed out any good finds from a junky area. Joan Allen offer a limited 5-year guarantee on all new Fisher detectors. We are the sole UK distributor and service centre, so if you should run into problems, it is to us that you should return your machine. But ring first. You might save time and money with what could be a user fault or something simple like poor batteries. All detectors are thoroughly tested both at Fisher's factory and before they leave Joan Allen's premises. As well as detectors, Joan Allen stock a very wide range of accessories and publications on the hobby and related subjects. Ask us for our latest price lists. Once the big purchase is made and you've received your detector, read the instruction manual thoroughly. Glean all the information you can, then experiment. The better you know your detector, the better it will serve you. Learn to recognize its quirks. This can only come through experience, so be patient. Have a positive technique. Search at a moderate speed, not too slow, not too fast. Keep the coil close to the ground and overlap your sweeps. If you haven't done so, and especially if you are new to the hobby, think about joining a metal detecting club. There will be one nearer to you than you might think. Amongst their members will be many seasoned detectorists with a wealth of knowledge. Tap into this. Most will only be too pleased to help you. Chances are that some members will have the same or similar detector to you, and so can offer tips and advice. Use experienced detectorists to widen your own knowledge. Club members will be able to help you with identification, cleaning finds and getting sights. Literally anything to do with the hobby. Phone Joan Allens for a club directory. Well, hopefully now you know a little more about metal detectors, what they can and can't do, their capabilities and their limitations. Perhaps you're a little closer to fathoming out which one to buy. We at Joan Allens claim to offer an unrivaled service to the hobby, not only through advice and expertise, but because we are able to offer our customers a comprehensive sales and after-sales facility, a fast turnaround of orders, unbeatable cash deals, interest-free credit, speedy delivery, and of course all the backup you should expect when buying an expensive piece of equipment. If you want to find out more, have any kind of queries, or even want to order a new detector, don't hesitate to pop in, ring, or write to us. You will be most welcome. Details follow. Anyway, bye for now, and happy hunting.